Sunyani, yes.
I win him say Bronga Hafu region. More mention Uko Bronga Hafu region as Sunyani is the capital of it.
Sunyani used to be, but now as people are growing into the space, controlling the issues of sanitation has become a problem. It's wherever people are going, wherever people are, the numbers of people are increasing. Won't say there's pressure on water, there's pressure on sanitation problems. So that the need there, it affects, as I said from earlier, it affects you. So
does it mean say okay, if you go to most of our rural areas, yes, for instance, flooding na ekoso ewo in crime pen na take place. So uko villages na in crossing na or also still na nsuo to affect you. So does it mean say what can say most of our rural areas, because the population there is limited, yes, no, it's not higher than here, but still na nsuo to you. So how come?
It is also most of nsuo no ethnic free baby and a baby. For instance, Accra generally geographically is seen as a lowland. Okay. In Tianfan, say black voter, white voter, and then let's see, there's one other river that moves a free through, and that's a northern region urban. And ya sani abedu forma, baby I will loan. You have a lot of issue carving that space. Okay. But what I say, first, Anka Kumasi hardly would flood, because Kumasi is a bit on a highland. I don't know, as we are broadcaster, at a point, Burkina Faso move your Munsona, the Bagre Dam, it comes down to Ghana, comes to joins the white voter, black voter, and then into the Akosobo Dam. So recently, the spillage Aba Akosobo Dam is because it's only a free top or no.
Good down, okay.
Which eventually would have to now come down to Accra. But what I say, it doesn't matter whether the density of the people is great or not. It is because the land heights or
the sloping of it. Okay.
And then the flood the neighbor. If someone is on the highland, definitely in Subia, no matter the flood ever, it doesn't affect that person. But you that you're on the lowland, a flood, it moves straight to you. That's why I think yesterday or last 2 days, VRA was saying, some dam na about between Fatema.
Yeah, someone would say around Tema.
Because if you are a Kosovo dam, the Kosovo is between mountains and a more blockade a certain aspect to hold the water coming from northern region side. So I'm not blocking if they don't open for some of the spillage to come out. It comes to wipe everyone down there. And so that is why flooding, whether it is on a higher side or higher plane or a lower plane, affects each and every one of us.
So we wouldn't say flooding is they be a cause bad if we are dumping of refuse and as a way. No. It could be the sloping of it.
The sloping, the geographical was in the mapping of how the whole land is. Yes.
We are talking about how our environment built system are being affected by a lot of these natural disasters. We're talking about population leading to that. Do you think there is any possible solutions that we can be putting in place that are able to resolve this issue? Because Ghana Hanum say no, when say most of our works are in the cities.
Yes.
It's in the way to Kwanya Juma, Ebia support system or we. So what are some of the availability of means out here we can put in place?
In Ghana, our problem is that we don't follow laws. Okay. Because Obinum said Mekota Sasia a war in Sunchen is a waterway. Maybe I say in Sona Befa. No what assassin, no we see apartment, we see dining hall. In Soneba, onya baby emfa. What does it do? Obebuafa. Other areas are which will cause flooding. And see, if we are following laws, definitely a lot of properties would not be erected. Recently, there was, I think, somewhere either beginning of this year or last year, where Tema, there was a place called Ramsey site, where people had bought for development. Ramsey site naturally means a green area where it's so free baby bar. It sits on that place and then gradually diminishes into the ground. Okay. But waterlogged area, among Fosidai. Okay. It's when the rains come, onya baby infa, obe travel the person.
So don't you think is also before you build you have to go and look for a permit?
Yes.
Do you think it's always the fault of we the citizens?
It's not always the fault of the citizens.
Okay.
Because one, if you look at Ghana, our lands are controlled by mostly our chiefs. Our chiefs and then our sub chiefs. Okay. They determine who they sell the land to.
Okay.
Unlike other jurisdictions whereby lands are controlled by the government.
Okay.
Maybe I am market say maybe
no go area.
No one goes to that area. But unfortunately for us, a lot of our lands, no, maybe me watch me. Me here scared by a oh be a bambesemito, my man. No, he said baby and come me chairman dipano. Enya bia nipa no so sit down. And there's no proper regulation.
Okay.
From we the citizens ourselves.
So it's from top to bottom. Obia.
Because you find say this may pay issue about this. If you go into it, you realize say is either people have built in waterways and spillage in the bar and baby amfa. But if let's say baby am for sit down, there's a clear marked area. So okay, ahana in subefa. Mo bia en sit down and ben and I say you be do and do a war those kind of areas about be soaking so na anka don't even if there will be an issue cry and court say nanka akwakosi sesian. But you go masasi me pen me oh yeah we always have these issues coming up. So those are the things that we all is from top to bottom, we all have to look at ourselves.
But we know we all say on a day over an assassin, Busian assassin, maybe 2 years. You taught to hammer me. It's no one also saying who's on over 2 years. It's not like something that the person went to buy for him or herself. On also, Sano, is it the fault of the person and answer him for because you taught to what that I be for 20 years ago, 50 years ago. But things have changed now. Do you get it? So, can we blame this person now?
We cannot blame this person, but naturally it's wrong. And now say we want to buy a property, you would go to the local authority to inquire of the land. What is the use of that land? Ebua yesi ebusuan asase but na abandon in saba beto so. There are times that abandon asase beka so ebusuan we ya said the masase amamubion.
Okay.
So you have to make the investigation from the Lands Commission to know okay asase no what's the use of it? Maybe Krabibi Akosi Dino has been marked for a market. Maybe Baby Akosi Dino there is a stream nearby a market okay. Maybe in the next 10 years, no. In so bet me Ebra come for so Ebefaha. No one should build from this distance to this.
So in circumstances like this, now they're going to maybe allocate a new place for you, the person in question.
That one is between you.
So do you get it now?
Yes.
So sometimes it's not their fault of the citizen. Would you really blame them that much?
You cannot fault them, but you too, because if any disaster happens, they affect you.
Okay.
Okay. When you are saying Japan was the land now, and I say Japan now person often because infant say in or because of our improper ways of life, there's a disaster. Now lives are lost. Now I don't know maybe
prevention.
So who now is at for who now suffers? You
can laying out of housing and all.
Yes.
How does that have an impact on the disposal of waste management?
For instance, when Tema was planned, Tema was planned in a certain way, say, it hovers around a central point. Okay. The central point was say, Anka, if you would have one sewage system. Ujaya in so abejari fee toilet abe flash sebe ni na ba good that sewage system then will be treated for other purposes. Inti Tema, as I said earlier, used not to flood because of proper layout now and interestingly people don't know say right from the 1950s the whole of Ghana has been planned. The whole of Ghana has been zoned.
Right from
1950s.
Is that a record I able to be?
Oh, there is a master plan for Ghana. And every community there's a zoned, what we call zoned. We blow up that part. Maybe say Osuha. There's a plan on how Osu buildings should be arranged. But a lot of developers don't go and look for those things. Maybe so my clients are torn assassin or me basically. But how to position your building, no? A lot of people don't look
really
at
pay attention to that.
And see, if you are doing layout consists of access roads. The boy always on so you think say it's a dead end.
Yeah.
Whilst maybe on the map or something, it's supposed to be a hand kind of improper layout. Access roads, when drainage systems, if there's proper layout, I say it spells out. Maybe are drains, or say drains effort. Drains, there were two types. There were what we call storm drains, there were what we call culverts or small drains. A beyond purpose is serving. And see, if those layouts are not properly done, you won't say, maybe I can show us a fan, or be a sedan, maybe I can waistline a fan.
So this is what the projection of it.
So this is a well-planned area. You see, on the right side you have green areas, okay. Then there's the drainage, and then Memphis away a road. Okay. It is a Sokra Togo Road, National Sania. About a Google name. If there's a spillage, it goes into the green areas, which eventually about assassin. And see, in such case, no, there will not be flooding. Because in Sonia baby far, there's a proper drainage system, and then we have green areas which soaks the water that is overlapped on the surface of the road. But most of our developments, unless maybe some estates, most of our developments do not have this. Even roads are constructed, most of them do not have this issue. And see, for instance, if you live on the Kaswa stretch, Izonia becomes a challenge for you to go home because the proper drainage systems that were supposed to be created were not done. So
is this the fault of the architects? And I say, Nipa no, yeah.
We are in the built environment. Yeah, a well built environment now. It comprises of the architects, engineers, urban planners, contractors or developers, settlement planning. But one of the issues that me, from my small time practicing as an architect, is that a lot of the clients, when Oka he doesn't like it. When you're advising the person, so okay, maybe baby, I want you to go and check on the land for me. You go, you come back, and say, boss, baby, assassin mentor. And now say, so talk, these are the things that you are supposed to do. Kabeka say, okay. So a lot of the people are forced to cut corners.
Okay.
And on him say maybe line 1, 2, 3. We'll get the thing right. On your side.
If you want to know what 10.
It's a race, and when it should be a bar, it affects the people. But if we planners and now say developers, yes, okay, these are the strict rules we are following. These are the things that we are supposed to do. Yeah, a lot of this havoc will not also come.
Okay.
Because if, for instance, I'm going to take a permit, I go to whichever assembly I'm to take the permit from. The only thing they will ask me is, I should come and pay a receipt, or give me a receipt as you pay the amount on it. Whether there will be a follow-up to come and check, say, baby, I may see that proper or not. You hardly
really
would
do that.
see them come.
But they had people who are normal take it that responsibility.
Yes, there are people that take up those responsibilities, but it's the effectiveness of their work.
Okay.
There are times, by the time they will come, the person is even done building. There are times, by the time they will come, the person has done a lot of the work. You cannot say, Ombubu die. So what do you have to do? You have to leave the person to continue the oil. And then, say Shuba, it affects all of us.
So the architects somehow are also to be blamed.
That's what I'm saying. We all in that built environment, we have to be.
Okay. Before and so we better assassin ABR. So can you have to make a search? Now who say ABR, does this area even belongs to the government and as a private entity? During that search, all these things now are you to be told and I say it's after when you are ready to build?
No, you have to be told before you even buy the land.
Before you even secure the place.
Yes. All these things are, they'll catch us and it gives you an information of where the land you are going to buy. For instance, certain parts of Teshi or Bema camp is for the military. Obibet Mark a family land metoma. But the way do the search and the find out, oh, it's still in the name of the military or the government. There's a problem. Whose fault is it? And see, normally we advise that, okay, get the site plan if the person has or the indenture. Make your search from the Lands Commission. Get to know who is the owner of the land and the use of the land. Say any government's land. Say it has not been marked for a school, a market, maybe a church building or any religious facility. It won't make it all those things. No one to be before you go ahead to buy it. But a lot of people don't have the time to do that.
Yeah, because I've seen situations where Nipane to assassin, and they'll say, baby also. Do you get it? So that pressure, and the money Nipane so cocky baby also.
And most of the time, you find out assassin and young Kwane at Wama.
To one baby also to be veggie.
But even I've seen people that Omakwe baby was all right, but because of the court ruling, that thing has been broken down. So
they can go to that extent.
Yes.
We'll see that inquiry to me.
For instance, those or if you are part where you see Amasama stretch going to Isawam.
Yeah.
A lot of buildings were destroyed because as far back as 2004, a lot of people were paid compensation. It's imagine compensation. I know say I buying say honey and assassin. Then I resell the property to another person. Without making the person know say assassin in your government land. So people began developing on that land and government comes and says, okay, now I want to expand the road. I would have to break all those properties down. Who's at fault?
So situations like this, the governments don't unsettle
because those people have been paid already. Only in the records of government with Tia Mokadada. And they say, oh no, and then government.
That's a lot of things.
That is why is very necessary to take the time to go through the process to know the use of land. Maybe our person who sit down in the crown first, not only maybe a motor.
Okay.
There are things that you have to consider before you can build. Maybe I'll to the first hospital BCO, a collapsed hospital. You have to look at the things that went into that surrounding before because okay, may task as way and as a method property way a developing. But a lot of people do not do that. Many years can be the same season and then they start. Then as time goes on, begins the season, a lot of things begin to reveal itself. Either your building will have to be demolished or your building has to be stopped, and you have wasted a lot of money or invested a lot of money into it.
Okay, my next question is based on how planners, any architect can adopt the system of sanitation.
Okay. Obviously, there's nothing new under the sun.
Okay.
Everything, and as BBI will be an ACP. In across the globe, for instance, if you take the country of Singapore, it's one of the countries that has implemented sanitation matters well.
It's a very neat country. I can attest to this.
But Singapore, as in 1975, was not so.
But can we say that it's because their population is not that much? Because who says sometimes you can relate it to a BI. Do you get it?
But who say it's because as far back as recent as 1975, Singapore used to be one of the filthy countries in the world. Same with Dubai.
1975.
Dubai, as in 1980s, entering 1990s, was one of the poorest countries in the world.
Producers say projected Singapore more. You know.
We share how Singapore, through their builders and then their planners, they changed everything about Singapore. Now people want to go to Singapore just for vacation. What happened? It was because of the built environment people, the architects, the planners, the urban developers, the contractors who decided, say, looking at the environment, in 50 years from now, Singapore will still be the neatest country in the world.
Same economic business. Okay, that's a projection of Singapore. You know, if I try to be projected on your screen, it's one of the neatest countries.
Yes.
And then I think they have a lot of tourist side, like
because also, landscape areas that can able to be a keep it for those kind of you're saying now.
But if it's a free country, who are going to person out to me a coho.
You're saying Nina things that anchor bit me that tourist attract because Singapore there's in architecture what we call a biophilic environment where you have a lot of plants. It's even on buildings the crown most of buildings where you shade the walls maybe in a space like this you will be I shade the creative in the areas for her and all that. Sana Sana what happens is that you create an environment that in architecture we call a breathing environment. Okay, a livable environment where people enjoy the space that they live in. I'm not sure if you walk down this path maybe aside Parliament House Accra is very hot.
Accra is hot. So now because I know can say in India mutia ewo e dan ho. I want to know does it have any effects? Is it we call most of our hometowns we see that we see a as a shade.
Yes.
Does it have any side effects on it?
Really hard.
Okay.
Is the effects of landscape on buildings greater than what we think. Okay. For instance, if one dia India will order home and now say maybe out here and on the property one, the quality of your air and I'm from our home air different. Inti opa so for every people that now sunny aba maybe a mensa or not both and from money different.
There is a projection of the ocean.
So this is a typical example. This is a royal park or Park Royal in Singapore. This is a hotel.
We now Singapore.
Yes, this is a hotel. And see, this is what normally in architecture we call a green architecture, where or a biophilic architecture, where a lot of greens are incorporated into the building.
Biophilic.
Yes, biophilic.
Biophilic.
Yes.
Okay.
And see, we be saying, for instance, also koto asase, and find say we koto asase na in real you are coming to disturb the soil. And to disturb the soil, you see what anywhere. What do you do to improve the environment now? Or what we say no. These are things that are now coming up to help improve the quality of air that people experience within a certain space.
But Ember how?
Oh, baby saying that we are there are systems we put in place, drainage systems in Yama, sprays in Yama, Udi Frafra, Emma and Bois Embe. Those birds can settle on it, but maybe creeping animals, snake and all those things. And there's a way they don't come into those spaces.
Okay, so still in the system of adoption, how can we adapt that?
Okay, one in adoption, first of all, designers and planners should be incorporated into nation development. It is and saying that people are employing the services of architects, planners, and all those things. First, me we see that plenty for projects in the man, for contracts, man,
okay.
Now, the room one will then but the adverse effects a bit free ban. I once checked on the project for a client. We call it now or the know of an accident, but which the chance that dying any person that sees the building knows that building was not built by did not have an architect or a contractor professional in it. But you see that it's in case as a also crab what happens, the building can collapse at any time.
So that is one.
That is one involving professionals in any development you want to do, whether it's a factory, a church first. Sorry, your carpenter be on board share the mind later. Be say afa ho goes the kakra.
But those are sorry say sorry you professionals or motorcycles. We take them to do their job because what you say. To say we are sorry ba. To you are sorry but me to me and sound cool before for what you say.
Truth be told is on tourist anyway.
Oh, yes. You have an experience. Do you care to share?
Yes, it's also until recently now. Let's see, our churches, we've been started employing some of the services of the professionals in the church.
Okay.
Okay, so first one is what's the name? involving professionals in the construction. Second one is there has to be public education. The public education on sanitation, I would say, is very low. In fact, Singapore, any example, people don't even know, say in Singapore, there's what we call mosquito police.
What I call as a form of
there's what we call mosquito police.
Okay.
Say about Fiena in Subi or Hebet to me among mosquito by a virtual.
Yes. People that are in charge of.
On charge, say they go house to house. Like those times that we used to have town council. Normally, what we call town council.
Town council.
Oh. They go house to house to check. Say in Subi or fear baby able to maybe mosquitoes.
They have people that.
They have people who go from house to house, apartment to apartment, checking those things. It has to do also. Is a Oma Sheda. Let me put it down. Oma Sheda say we want our environment to be clean.
You know, every means
and any means to do it, okay. We have to do it. All say, ultimately, go abua keke. But how no be better make money to abua be too free. All these animals, all these plants have effects on our built environment, but we don't consider them as such. Yeah, there is we are good to go. Many die 1 bedroom we are good.
But is that also Singapore near for projection of way. Buildings need be Singapore. Way it's really beautiful.
But what do you see in Accra? Normally we call it concrete jungle.
Concrete
buildings with just glasses and then we are gone. It's about one building the light rays hitting the surface of the building, striking down a town there's a building in UK called the Walking Turkey that people could not at the point no to me for building because say we had the box glass and then a above for man. Ukita egg create me fry egg.
Are you serious?
Because of how the building was developed. And see, these are things that we all have to look at amidst the global warming that is happening, because the global warming will not get better. As time goes on now, Ghana is rainfall pattern assessment. Because Ankafe is better, so June, July, and so on. Now we are in October and seeing the heavy rains that came yesterday. And see, we also have to improve our knowledge on how to build environments that would be sustainable for the future. It's all about sustainable future, sustainable cities. What do we do that brings about sustainability? If you are not doing things that brings about sustainability, our society will collapse.
Or you want to add more?
I think so we have the law enforcement bringing professionals, and the last one I would say is it has to do with you and with your personal interest.
Personal interest, very important. Personal
interest. A lot of us, let me say, we don't think about others.
Selfish. Yes. Selfishness. Okay.
We are too selfish on things that we are doing for ourselves and maybe our immediate environment or family, rather than the extended session of people that's identified affected. And maybe we sit down with baby a blocking way, but way down the line, there is obviously maybe on to me yes the one you need, but say assembly here it affects each and every one of us. And we should not be selfish. We should look at the collective interest of the community, the nation, and maybe the people as a whole to doing those things. And based on Obama, we will have a sustainable city or community as we want to live it.
It also help us in getting a sustainable society as we want. And apparently we've been talking about the influence of the built environment on sanitation. We have to involve professionals. When him say, a professional now, before you build, you have to involve all those professionals and say adopt a system of sustainability to ourselves. And then our selfishness else me dying to me pena me dabi ye de beboa wunia so wusina so wunia besini dia will affect your brother or your sister. We have to look at all these things before and say baby and yes or chine bi or china semo e bia na wunia but baby have be inherit. But we found obekono last words.
Okay, the last words is I think I've already said it, but my last words I'm can say we all should look at the collective interest. Whether you are the president, whether you are the least person on the ladder, we all have to look at the collective interest. And then the Buama Yemino, abeye sin na ye pese ebe and you be na be free baby aba boy. And it's what we would do. And ebema other
everything that you do
has to do with something that we all want to enjoy, not from an outside. And see, that is what I would see as
what we all want to enjoy, not an outsider. Say, oh, my beba if you and we have been speaking to Otine Kofi Tete. He's an architect. On a share any ideas on how we can help build this country. You see, you talk, okay, you see what is going on in the country. Sorry about some Pamoncho, CSC4, praise him. He's a member, a full church member of the Christ Apostolic Church International, you know. And before as I'm please, there will be a projection of votes. You know, we've been nominated for an award, Miracle Hour, Christian Television Program of the Year, and another day, also Christian Television Presenter of the Year. Obviously, vote here. Obviously, me dial star 844 star 180 hash star 844 star 180 hash. The nominee ID New Year. TP9 where Praise Achievement Award. The Pamoto baby Mumbai and I'm voting for award way and braffy. So I'm a kind no. Way the only thing that motivates you is this awards. And I want to see baby and then Wednesday we've been able to learn new things. Boy, building Ghana be ya if we yenara. Midi at Sunday Equia Abuaja. Friday will be coming your way live. And I'll probably say we casting morning news and I day the sports every year. Newspaper review me and I'm signing a day a year discussion segment. We've learned how we can manage our country, how we should involve professionals in building, in doing all our things. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for being with me. It was a pleasure being with you all.